So last week we looked at close guard, playing close guard, and standing up and getting away from close guard. We're going to continue from that, where we would have been in our opponent's close guard. We would have just had our hands on the armpits, we stood on one side, stood on the other side, brought our knees in the middle, and then pushed down on his legs to get to this position. Again, this position is now called open guard. Our guard is just our opponent's legs in front of me. So close guard, he had his legs closed behind me. Open guard, his legs are open. Open guard is kind of an auction term. It can mean a bunch of different guards. He could play a guard like De La Hiva. He could play a guard like single leg X. All these are still open guard positions. This is just a certain specific name. Or all those are guard positions. Open guard usually means when there's no connection between me and my opponent. This is the best time for us to pass, especially if we're beginning, because we can kind of pick our own grips and pass from an easier scenario, rather than like if he starts to put me in something that he likes like this, I gotta know a very specific guard pass from here. While from open guard, I can kind of get my own controls and work some guard passes. There's kind of like four main ways of guard passing here. There's passing around the legs, outside those legs, there's passing through the legs, there's passing under the legs, like this, and there's also passing over the legs, which I can't pick my example of right now, so I'll leave that for another day. We're going to look at two kinds of passes, because different passes will suit different people. Usually passing around the legs or outside of the guy's legs, outside passing, is a bit easier for guys that are a bit lighter and quicker on their feet, because our main advantage here is we have a lot of mobility. So if I come this way, it's harder for Edward to face me, and I can essentially start to run around his guard and control his legs. So that's better if you're quicker and lighter on your feet. But for some guys, they're going to do more of like a pressure style of passing, which is usually an under or through the leg style of passing, like that pass where I can underneath here. And here it's a bit more slower. I don't need to be quick and mobile. But what's good here is I can use my pressure and my size and my weight to grind my opponent and slowly hit a pass that's a lot more slow and controlled and more uses my natural abilities, which would be my size and my weight. Okay, back again. Bit of a cut there. Someone just rang the doorbell, so I had to go get the door there. Super quick. So we were just talking about the two kinds of pass, and we're going to show one of each for today. So we're going to do an outside pass, and for guys, again, not necessarily just for guys that are lighter on their feet. Different scenarios will want to use different passes, but in terms of what's going to suit people better, we'll have a pass that maybe suits you a bit better if you're a bit smaller and lighter on your feet, and a pass that suits you a bit better if you're not as quick on your feet, you're a bit mobile, or also if you're a bigger guy, because that can help you use your attribute, which will be your strength and your size, to kind of smush the guy. So first, in both these positions, it's important I talk about just like his guard in general. Kind of like what I was saying there, I don't want to just wade into this willy-nilly, because if my opponent's good, he's going to start putting me in loads of stuff that I don't know how to deal with, and he's going to start attacking me. So I want to play a kind of far away game at the start here. So I'm just chopping at my hips, bending my knees a bit, and I want to control his shins. This makes it a good position. He can't start trying to put his feet on my biceps, or he can't start trying to, get his legs entangled in my legs. For him to get a good guard, he's going to want 3 points of connection, usually with my hands or my legs or his legs together like this. So to start, we're going to be chopped, and we're going to be leaning from kind of far away. I'm kind of leaning my weight through my hands on my opponent, and I've got this double shin grip, and my shin grip, I'm just using wee Lego hands like this. For our first pass, our outside pass, I want to take a big step, cross step here. So by that I mean if I'm going to the left, I'm going to step through with my right foot first, like this, and then square up. My goal is to get past the line of my partner's hips. So if there was a straight line that came across his hips here, I want my back leg. So in this case, if I go to the left, I step through with my right foot. My left foot steps to the shoulder. My right foot should be in line with his hips. Now we're in a good position to start getting past his guard. If we're still kind of in front of his guard and we start trying to get our grips that we want, he's going to be able to do what I was talking about before. Yeah, start throwing his legs and making connections. But if we do our nice cross step with our right foot, left foot comes round, we cut like a right angle. Now, if he tries to get his feet on me, it's much more difficult. From here, after I do my cross step, step through, my forehand, so in this case my right hand, is going to pummel and go to the hip, and I'm just cupping his hip like this. My hand that's on the shin here is going to go onto his knee and push his knee flat to the mat. So I'm here, I'm going to back up and push his knee flat to the mat. As I do that, you'll see I'm coming from the flats of my feet onto my toes. This means my weight's driving through Edward here. Rather than here where my weight's through me, and if he can move his knee around here, it's easier for him to move around and square back up. When I push this knee flat, and now I bring my toes back, so I'm driving forward. If he tries to move around now, it's much more difficult, my weight's leaning on him. So again, I'm here. Double ankle grip, double shin grip, sorry. Cross step on my right. My left leg steps nice and high to the shoulder. I swim and pummel my hand to the hip. My other hand comes to the top of the knee, and I just take a wee jump back here and drive his leg flat as I come onto my toes, and my head's coming low here. I'm gonna now go from pushing his knee down to scooping up the top. So pushing down to scooping around. And my goal is I want to push his knees all the way. I don't want them pointing towards me. I want them pointing the opposite way. So I push him down, I switch from scooping, and I'm going to point his knees away from me as I circle towards his legs. Circle, 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 point his knees. As I get to here, my knee, the closest one, is going to go right into this crook behind his knee. Here. Now I can just put both my elbows on the mat beside his hips, and I can stay nice and tight here. Now it's easy for me to walk up on my knees and start to control his head and get a nice side control position. One more time, you square back up. Double shin grip, cross step, step high. Pummel my hand to the hip, other hand to the knee. I bring my weight back and drive forward. My head's coming low, my butt's up in the air, and I'm driving forward on my toes. I'm going to push his leg down and away from me with the goal that I want both his knees to point the other way. And as I do that, I don't just step, but I'm going to circle my legs, circle, circle, circle. And as his knees get to here, my hand comes to the mat, my knee comes to the mat, my other knee comes to the mat, my chest is across his thigh, and then both my elbows pinch around his hips and stay nice and tight. And then from here, I can reach for his head and use that to pull myself chest to chest as I walk high for side control. One last time, quick. I'm in here, cross step, come around, hands in the right position, circle, drive, come nice and tight, and walk to a higher position. So that's going to be our outside pass, kind of like a Toriano style pass. People can maybe call that like a J-point pass if you're looking to look it up. The next pass is going to be a double unders pass. Like a lot of things in Jiu-Jitsu, does exactly what it says on the tin. I'm going to be here, I'll show the whole pass first. I'm going to come under both my opponent's legs. I'm going to be stacking him and using my weight and my strength to drive his knees to his chest, and then slowly putting a lot of weight and pressure through until I smush him and come past, and I naturally land chest to chest. My goal when I finish a pass is to land chest to chest to my opponent and control his head and side control. So how this pass works, I'm again here, double shin position. This time both my hands are just swimming, like I'm doing a dive, to the inside of his legs. As that happens, I'm just going to come to my knees. So I swim, and I come to the knees, and I drive forward until the crook of his knee is in the crook of my elbow. So I'm doing like a big uppercut and catching his leg here. And I'm going to do that on both sides. From here, I want to lift his hips off the mat. So his hips are currently flat. I'm either going to lift and walk my knees under his hips, so when I go back down, my legs are like a ramp for his hips, or I can lift him and pull him towards me. So either are viable options. You scoot back there from the end. Perfect. So again, I'm here. I drive in, connecting my hands with a gable grip. So as if I was just going palm to palm, but I don't want my thumbs here in case my fingers get pulled away. My thumbs stay glued to my fingers like this. So if I was like scooping water, palm to palm. I swim underneath, I go palm to palm. I either drive into him to lift his hips up and my knees slot underneath, or I pull him up into my hips, all right? From here, I'm going to drive his knees as close as I can to his shoulders. So I mostly do that by like essentially trying to like look in his lovely eyes. I'm gonna lean over the top of him and look down like this. After I feel like I can't get his knees any further in his shoulders, I'm gonna pick one hand and go diagonal. So we'll say left hand's going to his right shoulder. This is now a marker. I'm looking to put my shoulder on his shoulder. First thing I'm gonna do is step up on that same side. So if I'm going onto his right shoulder, I step up nice and wide on my right foot. Now I want to drive my left shoulder to his right shoulder. So I'm driving, and the nice thing about this pressure pass is it's nice and slow. I can just drive nice and slow. I'm always driving forward, Right at the end, I just turn my head ever so slightly, so his leg just gets past, and then I'm in a great position when his legs fall away, that I immediately can fall chest to chest and can control his head. A big mistake a lot of beginners make, you scoot back just a wee bit, so slow, yeah, perfect, Deborah, thank you so much. A big mistake a lot of beginners make is when they get here and they scoop the guy, they get the grip here well, and they step out with their foot, but they turn away to get away from the legs. They do this. If my opponent's good, there's no weight on him, and my chest is really far away from being on his chest, so I'm not really controlling him. And if he's good, he'll just hip escape and turn back to face me, and then his legs are back in my way again. That's really annoying for me. So I want to make sure when I'm here, I get double unders. I connect my hands with my gable. I lift or insert my knees underneath, whatever works. I like to insert my knees because I'm not as strong. Hand goes diagonal to the shoulder, and I step up on that same side that my hand's on. I'm looking to connect my shoulder to his shoulder. I'm always driving forward. Driving forward, driving forward, driving forward. I'm bringing my chest over his chest. I'm like looking at the ground above his shoulder. When I get here, here it's tough to get this leg over my head. So I just turn my face ever so slightly. But you see my chest? I turn my face, but my chest stays pointed to the mat. I don't turn my whole body. If I turn my whole body in this position, the pressure comes off and I'm not chest to chest. My opponent's going to hip escape and get his legs back in front of me. While if I just turn my head at the end, so I get here, I step, I drive forward, and I just turn my head. Now when his leg just gets past, you can see my chest is directly over Edward's chest, and it's easy to land on him and control his head and his arm. Alright, so both passes one last time quick. My outside pass, cross step, come wide, hand to the hip, hand to the knee, come heavy, drive in, run into the side circle, and come nice and tight to here, and then I can grab his head, chest to chest. My double unders pass, same setup, double shin grip, pummel in, connect my hands, pull them up or get my knees underneath them, make sure these legs are up on my shoulders, cross grip, step up nice and wide, connect my shoulder to his shoulder, and always be driving forward, and just turn your head that slight amount just to get past, so I always finish chest to chest over the top of him, and then I can control his head and his armpit. And from here, next week, we'll talk about controlling this side control position and how to start attacking our opponent. Thanks so much, guys, and thank you.